Hi guys, Foo here, and it's time once again for one of my favorite times of the year, haunted house season. Now, Majanoni and I have sort of been on this journey to find what we think is the best haunted house in Arizona, and one of our stops this year was Jack and Jill's Haunted Hill. It's at 43rd and Thunderbird in Phoenix, and Majanoni had previously done a review of this after our first run through this maze, and they said there was a whole bunch of electrical problems on the night we went, so they invited us back out to come again, so we decided to go. I had an absolutely amazing time the first time we went, and apparently half the lights were out, and we didn't see some of the best parts of this maze, and I still have rave reviews for this. Going back and seeing this, when it's at its best, pristine. So, props that they managed to make it work when everything was sort of going to heck for them, and then seeing it at its best, again, perfect. This maze is $10 to get into, and at first I was skeptical about the $10 thing, but it was well worth it. A lot of the mazes and haunted houses are $20, $25, $30. $10 gets you into a single attraction, but a perfect single attraction. It knows its limitations and it stays within them really well. So, the important parts about this, and that what really set it apart, is that it has a really strong theme throughout the entire house. And I know some of the other ones use a really strong theme, but more importantly, it has a plot line that you can follow as you move throughout the whole thing. It starts out with a video that sort of explains the story of Jack and Jill and all these people going missing, and then the entrance to the mine you're about to enter. And it uses a slightly more theatrical take on everything. There's several stage portions that you move through where things happen within the plot line, and they're beautiful, like Hollywood level. I couldn't believe they did these things in front of my eyes. I don't want to ruin anything for you, but I was completely amazed. They're beautifully done. All the actors in here are amazing. After speaking with the owner and finding out they were volunteers, I was blown away. I've seen paid actors that can't do what these guys do, and just that level of dedication and passion is really great. There's great scares throughout the entire thing. But what I think is more important and interesting about this, more than everything being scary, which it is, but I've got that elsewhere, is this one is really creepy. What you see happen to Jack and Jill and a lot of the other characters, you meet several, there's sort of two types of characters within, or maybe three. You get people who jump out at you and sort of creep you out and scare you. You get murderers, and then you get victims. And I really like seeing victims. We don't always see those. And seeing that interaction between the two is really great. And I'd pay attention every time you're in this haunted house and see what happens to each of the victim character, because something does happen to each of them. And we ran through this several times, and there's several different scenarios that play out. So don't think you can go through more than once and really get a different experience. And I think, sort of the productions of the whole thing, there's a couple of spots where I can tell this is a lower budget production. The mine needs a bit of work, but it still gives you the feeling. And there's a couple other spots where the walls are a little bit thin, and you can tell. Aside from that, all the main rooms are really great. There's a kitchen and a dark room that are so beautiful and have so much detail in them, and you really need to spend the time to look at it, but you can't. There's so much detail put into that, and running through this several times, I notice something new every time, and it's really well done. I think there are parts of this that stand up to the production levels of things like 13th Floor and The Nest, which have a much higher budget, and there's parts that can't yet. The acting, the scares, the creepiness of this whole thing is really, really great. And they stay away from all the tropes that everyone else is using. There's no zombies, there's no vampires, there's no neon clowns, there's no 3D maze, there's no chainsaw guy, there's stuff like a chainsaw but no chainsaw guy. And it doesn't need any of that to be a really strong, great haunted house. And I'm really glad to see people being creative. It's a different experience than any of the other haunted houses in the valley. It was really, really amazing. And talking to the owner, I'm really excited to see where this is going to go. I think it's really good to see a homegrown Arizona thing coming, because You know, I really love 13th Floor, but there's 13th floors in several states. You know, The Nest is a really large-scale production. It's a business first and a haunted house second. This is people who love haunted houses trying to put on the best haunted house they can. And it's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. I'm excited to go back next year and see the changes. I'm excited to go back the year after that and the year after that. If they even stayed at this level, I'd still be excited to go back. You know, and knowing that they're going to work and change and keep expanding, I am so happy to see these people and what they're going to do next year. So if you hit one haunted house this year, I'd say hit Jack and Jill's Haunted Hill. $10, way cheaper than everyone else, and it is a lot of bang for your buck. So tell me what you think, rate the video up or down, and happy Halloween, everybody.